12,000 years ago, someone built a temple. Not a rough pile of stones. Not a shallow pit with markings scratched into the earth. A temple. With carved pillars standing 5 meters tall. With animal sculptures so detailed you can see the tension in a predator's body. With a layout so precisely designed that modern architects study it for clues. And here is the part that breaks everything we thought we knew. The people who built it had no farms. No cities. No writing. No metal tools. They were, by every definition our history books have used, primitive hunter-gatherers, people who, according to the story we have been telling for 200 years, should not have been capable of organizing, planning, or executing anything remotely like what they left behind in the hills of southeastern Turkey. And yet, there it is. Göbekli Tepe. A site so extraordinary, so impossibly advanced for its time, that when archaeologists first began to understand what they were looking at, some of them refused to believe the dating results. Surely the machines were wrong. Surely the carbon samples were contaminated. Surely something this sophisticated could not be 12,000 years old. The machines were not wrong. Welcome to Silent Epoch Vault, where the past refuses to stay buried, and tonight, we are going 12,000 years back to the moment that changed everything we thought we knew about the origins of human civilization. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now, because the story we are about to tell is the kind that rewrites textbooks. And this is only the beginning. What you will learn in this video. Why a German businessman's obsession with a dusty hillside in Turkey led to the most important archaeological discovery of the 20th century. The impossible engineering achievement that hunter-gatherers with stone tools somehow pulled off, and what it tells us about human capability 12 millennia ago. The carved symbols and animal imagery covering the pillars, and why researchers believe they encode a system of meaning we still cannot fully read. The one decision that preserved Göbekli Tepe for 12,000 years, and the fact that whoever made that decision may have known exactly what they were doing. The theory that turns the entire story of civilization upside down. Religion did not follow farming. Farming may have followed religion. And the question that nobody has been able to answer, what is still buried beneath that hill, and what will it change when we finally find it? The discovery. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd was walking across a limestone hill in southeastern Turkey, a place called Hizarlik, about 15 kilometers northeast of the city of Sanliurfa, when he noticed something odd sticking out of the ground. He had probably walked past it 100 times before. So had everyone else. A German archaeological survey team had passed through the area back in 1963 and noted the hill in their records. They described some limestone slabs visible at the surface. They assumed it was a medieval cemetery and moved on. It sat there for 30 years. Unexcavated. Unexamined. One of the greatest secrets in human history, sitting in a field, waiting. Then a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt came across the 1963 survey report while reviewing old records in the mid-1990s. Something about the description nagged at him. Medieval cemeteries do not usually have T-shaped stones. Medieval cemeteries do not usually sit on top of artificial mounds that have been accumulating material for thousands of years. Schmidt went to the hill in 1994. He looked at what was sticking out of the ground. And he knew immediately that the survey team in 1963 had made one of the most expensive mistakes in the history of archaeology. The limestone slabs were not grave markers. They were the tops of massive carved pillars, each one shaped into a precise T-form, each one partially buried, each one weighing somewhere between 10 and 20 tons. And they were not alone. Ground-penetrating radar would later reveal that the visible pillars were just the surface layer of a site that extended deep into the hill. Circle after circle of structures, going down and down into the earth, older and older as you went deeper. Schmidt began excavating in 1995. He would spend the next 19 years of his life on that hill. He never left the project. He died in 2014, still working at Göbekli Tepe, still trying to understand what he had found. The carbon dating of organic material from the site came back with results that stunned the academic world. The oldest layers of Göbekli Tepe dated to approximately 9,600 BCE, nearly 12,000 years before the present day, 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. The oldest temple ever discovered, built by people who, according to everything we thought we knew, should not have been able to build it. The pillars and what they say. Stand at the edge of one of the excavated enclosures at Göbekli Tepe and look down. What you see should not exist. The T-shaped pillars, some standing over 5 meters tall, some weighing 20 tons, are arranged in precise circles. 2 larger central pillars stand in the middle of each enclosure, surrounded by a ring of smaller ones, all connected by low stone walls. The layout is deliberate. The geometry is intentional. This is not random arrangement. Someone designed this. But the pillars themselves are what stop you in your tracks. They are covered in carvings. Animals, foxes, boars, cranes, vultures, scorpions, snakes, lions, ducks, rendered with a naturalistic skill that is astonishing for any era, let alone 12,000 years ago. The detail is extraordinary. You can see muscle definition. You can see the curve of a wing in motion. The sculptors who made these were not beginners experimenting with rock. They were masters of their craft. And then there are the abstract symbols, H-shapes, crescents, handbags, geometric patterns that repeat across multiple pillars across multiple enclosures. Not random decoration. A system. A visual language that meant something to the people who carved it, and that we have not yet been able to fully decode. Several of the pillars have arms carved into their sides, long, stylized human arms that wrap around the stone shaft. Some researchers believe the T-form of the pillars is itself a stylized human figure, the horizontal bar representing shoulders and a head, the vertical shaft representing a body. If that interpretation is correct, then these were not just decorated columns. They were beings. They were presences. The people of Göbekli Tepe were not worshipping at a stone structure. They were standing among stone gods. What those gods meant to them, what the foxes and the vultures and the repeated H-shapes encoded, remains one of the great unsolved questions of human prehistory. We can see the language. We cannot read it. You are watching Silent Epoch Vault. If this is the kind of history that makes you rethink everything, subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. We go places like this every week, and you do not want to miss what comes next. The engineering that should not exist. Here is a question that seems simple but is not. How do you move a 20-ton block of limestone up a hill without wheels, without draft animals, without metal tools, and without any of the organizational infrastructure that we associate with large-scale construction projects? The answer, apparently, is that you figure it out. Because the people of Göbekli Tepe did it, repeatedly, over a period of at least 2,000 years, building enclosure after enclosure on that limestone hill in southeastern Turkey. The quarry sites have been found nearby. Archaeologists identified them by the partially detached pillars still lying in the bedrock, pillars that were being cut free when the work was abandoned for reasons unknown. The largest unfinished pillar at the quarry site is approximately 7 meters long and weighs an estimated 50 tons. 50 tons. Cut from solid rock using flint tools. The technique appears to have involved teams of workers using stone hammers, antler picks, and sheer collective effort to chip away at the bedrock around the intended pillar, gradually separating it from the surrounding stone. Then, somehow, the pillar was moved to the construction site, positioned in a prepared socket hole, and raised to vertical. No one has produced a fully satisfying engineering explanation for how this was done with the available tools and technology. Experimental archaeology teams have attempted to replicate portions of the process. They have concluded that it is possible, but that it would have required hundreds of workers coordinating their efforts over extended periods. Hundreds of workers coordinating over extended periods. And here is where the conventional understanding of hunter-gatherer society hits a wall. Small, mobile bands of 20 to 50 people following seasonal game do not build 20-ton temple complexes. They do not feed and house hundreds of workers for months at a time. They do not have the social organization, the surplus food production, or the authority structures required for large-scale construction projects. And yet the evidence is unambiguous. The people who built Göbekli Tepe were doing exactly this. Which means that either our understanding of hunter-gatherer society is fundamentally wrong, or the people of Göbekli Tepe were something more complex than the label hunter-gatherer has ever suggested. The theory that flips everything. For 200 years, the story of civilization went like this. Farming came first. When human beings learned to cultivate crops and domesticate animals, they could produce enough food to stay in one place. Staying in one place meant permanent settlements. Permanent settlements led to social complexity. Social complexity led to specialization, hierarchy, religion, monumental architecture. Agriculture was the engine. Everything else, including organized religion, was the product. Göbekli Tepe does not fit this story at all. Klaus Schmidt spent years thinking about why a site of this complexity and scale would have been built by pre-agricultural people. His conclusion, developed over years of excavation and analysis, was radical. What if the relationship ran in the other direction? What if the needs of the temple, the need to feed and maintain the hundreds of workers required to build and operate a sacred site of this scale, created the pressure to develop agriculture? What if organized religion came first, and farming followed, because the demands of the temple made it necessary? In other words, the temple did not emerge from civilization. The temple created civilization. Schmidt's hypothesis is not fringe speculation. It is taken seriously by archaeologists and historians of the ancient world precisely because Göbekli Tepe is the evidence base it rests on. The site exists. The dating is confirmed. The scale is documented. And the Fertile Crescent, the region where the earliest evidence of plant and animal domestication has been found, is the same region where Göbekli Tepe sits. The first farmers and the builders of the first temple may have been the same people, operating in the same landscape, within a few generations of each other. Not because farming enabled the temple, but because the temple demanded farming. The burial that preserved everything. At some point, or at multiple points over an extended period, the people of Göbekli Tepe did something that puzzles researchers to this day. They buried it. Deliberately. Systematically. With enormous effort. The fill material packed around and over the structures is not natural accumulation. It is not wind-blown sediment or collapsed architecture. It is deliberately placed backfill, clean stone rubble, mixed with animal bones and flint tools, packed carefully into every available space. Someone, many people working together, made the decision to cover this site completely and carried out that decision with the same thoroughness they had brought to building it. The burial is what preserved it. The packed fill protected the pillars from erosion and weathering for 12,000 years, so that when Schmidt began excavating in 1995, he found carvings as crisp and detailed as the day they were made. But why was it buried? Some researchers propose it was ritual decommissioning, a formal closing of a sacred space when it had served its purpose, or when it was being superseded by a newer structure. Some propose it was defensive, covering the site to protect it from some approaching threat. Some propose it was an act of preservation, a deliberate choice to put the site beyond the reach of time, knowing that someone, someday, would come back for it. We do not know. The people who made the decision left no explanation. They buried their greatest creation and walked away, and 12,000 years passed, and a Kurdish shepherd stumbled across a corner of stone in a field. What lies beneath? Here is what keeps the archaeologists awake at night. Only about 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. 5%. Ground-penetrating radar surveys of the unexcavated portions of the hill have revealed the outlines of at least 16 additional enclosures beneath the surface. 16 more circles of pillars, 16 more sets of carvings, 16 more windows into the mind of whoever built this place. And the deeper you go, the older the structures become. The excavated enclosures, the ones with the extraordinary animal carvings and the T-shaped pillars, represent a relatively late phase of the site's use. The earlier phases, buried deeper, may be more elaborate, may be more sophisticated, may contain answers to questions that the excavated portions only sharpen. What is at the center of Göbekli Tepe, beneath all the layers, at the oldest and deepest stratum? Nobody knows. The excavation, continuing every season with modern technology and growing expertise, will not reach the deepest layers for decades. Whatever is down there has been waiting 12,000 years. It can wait a little longer. But the people working at that site every summer, brushing soil from carved stone, mapping enclosures that no living human has seen since they were buried, they know that the most important discoveries at Göbekli Tepe have not been made yet. Not even close. In this video we learned. Göbekli Tepe was discovered in 1994 by archaeologist Klaus Schmidt after a 1963 survey team had dismissed it as a medieval cemetery, a mistake that delayed the discovery of the world's oldest temple by 30 years. The site dates to approximately 9,600 BCE, nearly 12,000 years ago, 6,000 years before Stonehenge, built by hunter-gatherers who should not have had the social organization or technical capability to construct it. The T-shaped pillars, some weighing 20 tons, covered in extraordinary animal carvings and repeating abstract symbols, represent both an engineering achievement that defies conventional explanation and a visual language that researchers have not yet fully decoded. Klaus Schmidt's most radical and influential hypothesis was that Göbekli Tepe inverts the conventional story of civilization. Not that farming enabled religion, but that the demands of the temple may have driven the development of farming. The site was deliberately buried, preserved for 12,000 years by the same people who built it, for reasons we do not understand. Only 5% of the site has been excavated, and ground-penetrating radar has revealed at least 16 additional enclosures still waiting beneath the surface. Thank you for staying with us through this one. If Göbekli Tepe changes the way you think about where we came from, you are not alone. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe to Silent Epoch Vault and ring the notification bell so you never miss when we go somewhere like this. Drop a comment below. What do you think is buried in the unexcavated 95%? We read every single comment. Share this tonight with someone who thinks they know the story of human civilization. We will see you in the next one.